Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at the second pre-order battleship that is available. The first one, of course, being the Iron Duke for the British, but also the Japanese have one coming in, and it is, of course, the IJN Yamashiro. This is another kind of First World War vehicle. It was built before the events of the First World War, but was around during that time, and also at the same time it is one of those vehicles that unfortunately was part of the Battle of Leyte Gulf, and if you know about that battle, it didn't exactly end very well for Japan. This vehicle went up against 6 American battleships, and only 10 of its crew actually survived, with Vice Admiral Soji Nishimura going down with the ship. It didn't have exactly a spectacular end, but the vehicle itself does have a lot of factors which will make it at least enjoyable for people who play War Thunder. The IJN Yamashiro is your pretty standard battleship. It was commissioned into service in 1917 and it was launched in 1915 during the First World War. It was part of the Fuso class, which we already have actually represented into the game, which is pretty cool. And it's another one which is 90 Canadian dollars. So if you want to purchase it, make sure to use the partner discounts that you can see in the description. It will cut the price and then also support the channel. You get 30 days of premium time, 3,000 golden eagles, and also the title of Oni no Yamashiro, plus the pre-order bonus of the unique flag of the Kyoto prefecture, which is pretty cool. It does also have an asterisk to it, and it says it's the Kyoto prefecture flag, just in case you didn't know. So yeah, this vehicle is another First World War vehicle, or pre-First World War when it started to be built, and then mainly used, or commissioned, at least into service into the First World War, and did exist into the Second. And what is interesting about it is it does at least have some slightly different factors compared to the Iron Duke, but mostly it's pretty much the same. The vehicle itself has 12 356mm guns, arranged in 6 twin-gun turrets, and once again, you can fire all of them in a salvo to the side, so you can get a full, nice broadside at the enemy with all of your guns. At the same time, it does have access to 16 150mm guns and also 6 80mm anti-aircraft guns. And it does have some torpedoes as well, with 6 533mm torpedo tubes. My guess is they haven't given it a refit. They don't talk about any AA on the vehicle itself or anything like that. So it's just one of those which is going to not have all of the crazy amounts of AA on it that was around the place. The vehicle itself was sunk in 1944, and it technically did have some different sets of armament on it, or at least I'm guessing it did. Unfortunately, I can't seem to find anything. Oh, there we go. So in July 1944, the ship was fitted with another 17 single, 15 twin, and 8 triple mounts, for a total of 92 anti-aircraft guns in her final configuration. So there you go. It was another one of these Japanese battleships, which were like, oh god, aircraft are coming, better put every single 25mm we can find on it and hope for the best. Obviously that didn't help too much, but yeah, the configuration you're getting as a premium is the one which doesn't have that armament. So you are once again heavily reliant on your primary armament, therefore this will be more of a first spawn vehicle. As you spawn more times in naval, maybe not necessarily at this BR anymore, because there are a lot of heavy cruisers and also battle cruisers and battleships which do have a lot of AA armament on them, but usually once people know what you are, they will single you out to drop bombs, torpedoes, and all of that good stuff, because of the fact that you don't have a lot of AA armament, if any at all, and also most people will use that armament to be able to shoot at other ships anyway. The broadside will be devastating on this vehicle though, and since it should be pretty similar to a vehicle we already have in the game, you can check out the guns that will be accessed and or accessible on this machine to go after other enemies. The vehicle will be fine, you know, it will be able to fit at its BR pretty well, and one of the only issues with stuff like the Yamashiro and also the Iron Duke is the top tier at this moment will be a little bit compressed for them, so they will just go up against better versions of themselves. The one thing that is good though is the armament will be able to deal with those better versions. The only thing that will hold them back is the secondary setup, and generally that doesn't really matter in a ship-on-ship battle. So the vehicles will be fine, you know, they will generally work very well, and also as the BRs will get decompressed over time, especially once they add those larger and larger machines, it will work incredibly well. The vehicles are being bought in because they are going to be rank 5 premiums, and they decided to add in rank 6 for the Blue Water Fleet in the last major update. So this is kind of just another step towards adding those premiums in to be able to grind out the tech tree efficiently. One of the things that's kind of stipulated with changes in rank is usually not just these heavy high tier premiums. What usually comes along as well is other high tier ships. So now that 5 nations in the game have these rank 5 premiums with their battleships and battle cruisers alongside, my guess is we're going to get some interesting large naval ships for different nations as well. So in this update with the Iron Duke and also the Yamashiro turning up, it wouldn't be very surprising if we see more vehicles for them in the tech tree to try and not force people to buy these things, but to help them out as always. So for me, this might be a precursor to some even bigger events. And as we know, there is some really cool Japanese battleships and even battle cruisers still out there that haven't been added to the game yet. And I'm looking forward to seeing them, especially with everything that's going on. Japan is one of those nations which after the Second World War, the naval prowess very much dies off. Or if you have a look at like Britain or America or any others like the USSR with their frigates, they have some really interesting and unique designs that hopefully will make it to the game at some point. But for Japan, you are pretty much stuck with mainly just the Second World War stuff, and then obviously some areas from, you know, later on, but that's mostly, you know, not gonna be near the top tier things. So Japan really relies on stuff like the Yamashiro to be able to be useful, to be able to grind out, you know, the next set of things that come through. So I'm hoping that with this, it brings along some new life to the Japanese tech tree, which already is pretty powerful at the high tiers, but could get even better and have its time in the sun before other nations start taking over. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.